No, very few. I tell you, if you haven't heard enough from all these good speakers here, from what Father Jeff Younger had to say, Dr. Pickup, and those others who spoke about this, then the words will never get to you if you haven't gotten an understanding of what we're doing. We do a lot of important things here in the legislature, and I can't think of anything that we have this session, including our budget and redistricting, which are very important, that's any more important than stepping up and protecting these innocent children. It's been called child abuse. There are no other words to describe what it is when you think about it. And the problem we have is that no one wants to think beyond the veil of, isn't that cute, the little boy in the dress or the girl. They're not thinking beyond that. And what we have done with this is just imagine. I mean, I grew up, I can remember kids from elementary school. The boys were sissies. That's what we called them. They were not necessarily nice, but they were sissies. The girls were tomboys. By the time I got to high school, some of those sissies were some of the toughest football players I had to deal with. And those tomboys, wow, made knockouts for homecoming queen. I mean, if they had lived now, who knows what it would have happened to them. And back to what I was saying about not, they did the veil of it. But when you get down to what are we talking about? We're talking about drugs that are irreversible, that no matter what happens later, that starts the process. It's irreversible. And then when you talk about, and this is what people don't want to hear about. I don't even like saying this kind of thing, but when you talk about cutting the penises and the testicles off of a boy, that's pretty drastic, pretty doggone drastic. And we're talking about children. We're not talking about an adult who's made that decision for themselves. You've got a cadre of people who want this culture that we're in to do something different, and they're using children to do this. And with what they do to the girls, of cutting out their breast and then grafting on artificial penises, folks, that's what people need to hear about. I don't like talking about it, but people need to understand how horrific. This isn't something that's just cute. This isn't something that we just ought not to be doing. It's not like, what color tie you wear or what you wear on a particular day or you eat. This is radically changing children who have no choice. And as I think Jeff said, you can't even tattoo a child. You can't give them cigarettes. You can't give them alcohol. And I agree with that. But we're talking about cutting their body parts off and making a big deal about it, putting them on a pedestal, or the parents. And that's probably one of the problems we have, is the attitude of the parents of a boutique child. So as we move forward, Steve's got a great bill. Valerie has a good bill, because the issue, I can't think of, in sports, women have worked so hard. And where are the women stepping up? Where are the women? They're saying our sports is going to be taken away from us. Look what just happened in Utah. I think we got a Miss America contestant that's heading to the big contest in Atlantic City or wherever they're holding it now. It has absolutely no business being there. But we've got the facts out there. Was it the woman who holds a world's record, I believe, is in the 440 or 400 meter, I guess it is now. It's 440 when I ran track. It's 400 meters now. Has won that year after year after year, setting records. And we currently have over 300 high school boys that have a faster time than she has. So it is going to destroy women's sports. And I thank you, Valerie, for that bill. And thank goodness there are companions for these in the Senate. There are companions for these that several of us are working on. And one way or another, we hope we'll get it through there. But I can say I thank all of you. Thank you, Steve, for what you're doing. Jeff, I can't say enough about you for stepping up. We've been working this. Jeff and I, we tried last session. I had a bill in the Senate. I couldn't get a hearing on it last session. I hope it's going to be different this year. This is something, there is nothing bigger we're going to do this session than to protect these children. And thank all of you for doing this. Thank you.
At some point, government needs to make sense. But it doesn't make any sense when 2 years ago we told the people of Texas an 18-year-old isn't old enough, isn't mature enough to decide whether or not they should smoke. And so this chamber, the Senate chamber, came together and they said 18-year-olds are not smart enough to know whether or not they should buy cigarettes or not. We raised the smoking age from 18 to 21. And yet we're telling a 6-year-old that they can transition? I used to work for the Harris Poll. I'm not into anecdotal information. It drives my staff nuts because I always say, show me the study. Show me the research. I'm a junkie on it. I want to see empirical data. You've heard some of the most compelling empirical data today, and you'll hear more. And if you want more of it, we'll pour it onto you. We've got it. And if you want to provide it for any of your stories, we will give it to you. This is not some kind of Baptist or Christian or right-wing thing. This is empirical data. This is Plus One Sweden study. It's a peer-reviewed science journal that shows that within 11.4 years of transitioning for these adults, they start experiencing emotional distress and start spiraling down. That's reality. We know that the suicide rate is exponentially higher among these children as they become adults because they've done something that they cannot reverse. And you'll say, well, isn't that just because the United States is not accepting of these kids? Well, go over to the Scandinavian countries where it's widely accepted and encouraged. Their suicide rates are identical. We've got to protect these kids. This is about the children. This isn't a left-right issue. As you heard earlier, the Obama administration did not support this. We should not support this. The UK has heard all the arguments for and against, and aside, the courts have said we should not accept this. Texas should not accept this. We've got to start standing for our children, loving them, caring for them, and fighting for them, and not fighting for political wokeness and correctness. And I hope you'll help us with it. God bless you. Thanks. So the different folks that you heard from today are going to stay here and be available for questioning. If you want to ask any questions, feel free. Okay? Thank you.